So, good afternoon. Ako na lang i-record ang lesson kay Paman mo nanulod. And anyway, this is just a review. So, it's all about preparing commentaries. So, what is a commentary? Again, a commentary is also known as guide speak. So, this basically are what the tour guides say in front of the guest when describing an attraction. So, for example, if you're in Santo Niño, whatever the tour guides say, that is a part of the commentary. And then it also includes general information about the country as well as local tales, events, and personalities related to the attraction. So, for example, Cebu. So, what are the local tales of Cebu? What are the events or the events that would take place? And who are the personalities behind Cebu? So, those are the things that you can include in your commentary. Now, what are the steps in making a commentary? So, number one, know your guest's interest and expectations. So, how can you know this? You can know this by checking on their profile, their age, perhaps their nationalities, and all. And then know the itinerary. This is the reason why I let you make the itinerary first before making the commentary, because that is how, or that your itinerary will be the basis of your commentary. And then look for reliable sources of information about the attractions included in the itinerary and gather information from these sources. So, again, there are two types of source of information. The first one is the primary, and second is secondary. So the primary information are information that we can get from those people who have first-hand experience in the attraction. So, for example, local residents in the area, or in the attraction, or local government, or some tourists that have been there. They are source of primary information. And then the secondary information are those information that are published. So, maybe in the travel guidebooks, could be blog or vlogs, but anything, you should be careful in choosing information from the secondary. You have to make sure that it's still updated, because sometimes it's outdated. So basically, you have to double check everything, and you can do triangulation, wherein you look for other sources. You don't just base on one source. Alright, and then number 4, write your commentary based on the information you gathered. Of course, do not add or do not deduct some information that are actually, let's say, important or essential, and do not make a story just base your commentary based on the information that you have gathered. And then number 5, practice and revise your commentaries to see fit. Now, there are sometimes there are things that it's not really fitting, or you think that it's not needed anymore, so you can take them out. And there are sometimes you may feel that your commentary is somewhat lacking, so you can adjust, or you can add other information that you can gather from the attraction. Okay. So what are the types of commentary? So number 1, you have the required. Under required type of commentary, you have your introduction. So introduce yourself, greet, and smile. And then you give them the overview of the tour. How long will the tour take? What are the things that you would do? For example, you will be doing snorkeling, and so on. And then what are the do's and don'ts? Of course, when you visit a certain site, there may be some rules and regulations, especially when you're doing a city tour. If you're going to churches, you make sure that your tourists are not loud, because it's a place of worship, and so on. And then they should be required to have decent attire, since that is a holy place. And then required gears, if applicable or if necessary. For example, you will be doing snorkeling again. So they can bring their own, or if snorkeling gears are actually included in the in the tour or in the tour. And then you also tell them about the safety precaution. Now you can actually insert safety precautions in the at the beginning, in the middle part, and in the middle part. And then the second type of commentary is informative. Now this type of commentary is your interpretation of the attraction, and it also includes the meaning and the relevance of attraction in the people. For example, you can tell them all about what you see inside the Plaza Independencia, where to look for, where to take picture, and so on. And then requested are those questions from the tourist. Of course, after you deliver your commentary, there may be, one of the group at least should have a question, and it could be regarding of what you have told them about your informative comment from your informative commentary, or just simply asking you where the toilets are, and so on. And then the optional is your engaging and entertaining traits. Now, from the sense that this is an optional type of commentary, you may or you may not include this one in delivering your tour commentary. All right. So now let's go to the parts of the tour commentary. So number one is the introduction. So under introduction, you have your greetings, introduction, or introducing yourself, and then getting to know the group, overview of the tour schedule, when will you depart and when will you be back to the hotel, and then expectations from the tour, may it be adventure, the long ride, and so on, and then what are the general information about the city or the country, can include that. And then the number two part, or the second part, is the body. So the body is where your informative commentary is found or is included. So interpretation and relevance of the attraction, what to see or do there, how long will the group stay there, and then you make sure as well that if you let them roam around, if the attraction is kind of big, let's say at the mall, or let's say in the mall, so let's and then you let them roam around, of course, for shopping, for example. Then you make sure that you remind them of the time of reassembly at the specific point. All right. Now, number three, or the third part, is the reaction. So the reaction is the questions from the tourist and basically reactions as well, and then you do a recap. So if someone says, let's say you have a large group, if someone asks a question, you repeat the question and then you answer for everyone to know, because it might be that the other tourist have or has the same question as the other one. So make sure that everybody knows what the question and answer is all about. The number four is the reminders. So under reminders, you have safety precautions, like what? Just basically you watch your steps, keep track of time, take care of belongings, slippery, etc. And then number five is the closing, or the last part is the closing. So you thank the participants for joining the tour, and if you can give feedback sheets, that would be good, or that would be great, for you to know whether there are part of your tour that can be or that needs improvement, and what are the things that you are good about. It's like assessing your strength and weaknesses. And you can also provide them tokens. It's an optional thing, but it's good as a souvenir for the tour. And then, okay, now what are the steps in preparing commentaries? So number one, you get a map and plot locations. Basically, since you already have your itinerary, so, and if you believe that your itinerary has been okay, I mean, it follows the rule or the general rules in preparing the itinerary, so you don't have any problems. You don't have to get a map. But anyway, if you are still not confident enough, you can get a map, or you can just use your smartphone and see the map. You see plot locations. I have to know where are the locations of these. Alright, and then you would also know the locations of toilets, food stores, souvenir shops, security office, and clinics in case of emergency. And then identify the starting point and the meetup point. And then you think of a logical arrangement. Again, there should be no crisscrossing or backtracking. Same with making itinerary. Alright, and then how do we review and edit your tour commentaries? So you should ask, is the grammar correct? So there are applications now that would correct grammar, that would help you correcting your grammar, like Grammarly. And then you can also try to ask someone who is an expert with grammar. And then does the commentary follow the same flow of the itinerary? That's one thing that you need to make sure, because it would be awkward if you're telling about something and you're not really in the certain instruction. So I think this is a common sense part here. And then are the words and sentences used interesting and compelling? So make sure that you'd only use those information that are interesting and yeah, the informative one, not the boring ones. So that's it. And how do we deliver commentaries? Now, we have the 3 B's. So number 1, you should begin with a smile, a greeting, and introduction, as usual. And then brief the guest about the tour of the day. What are the expected or level expectations? And then review the tour inclusions and exclusions. This is crucial here because the tourist might, let's say, the lunch is actually not part of the tour, but then some guest was expecting it. Now that can cause trouble. So make sure that you review the inclusions and exclusions of the tour. And then bring up the travel time as well, the distance, pit stops, precautions, and important landmarks. So what are the tips in delivering tour commentaries? So good appearance. You don't have to be beautiful or handsome. You just have to look and smell clean. Should wear comfortable and presentable and compliant to the places which you will visit. Here's the thing, if you are not wearing comfortable attire when you're doing the tour, then it might hinder your service providing. And then let's say you're going to the beach and you're wearing formal attire. No, that's not gonna be it if you're going island hopping. So make sure that you're also wearing an attire, a beach attire or whatnot, swimming attire, and so on. And then it should be compliant to the places that you will visit. So if you're going to visit a church, make sure that you are wearing a formal or at least casual attire. Now, second, you should have a good introduction. So always begin with a smile, greetings, and self-introduction. And then good communication skills, of course. Since you're a tour guide, you should speak clear and audibly. Now, the thing with there are people who are not gifted with a loud voice, so there are lapels or Bluetooth device now that you can bring with you, so that you can you can use them for you to be heard by everyone. And then use polite and simple words. Maintain eye contact. Use appropriate body language, like for example, showing direction. Now we know that us Filipinos, when we were asked for introduction, we use our lips, but instead use our hands in pointing out direction, and add humor if you can. Also consider the tourist needs to rest. And you don't have to do the talking all the time. You also give time to the tourist, or me time. Okay, and then good preparation. There's not. I'm sorry. How do you? You can be confident when you know your product well. So, yeah, that's the key for confidence. You know your product well. You know your itinerary. You know your commentary, and so on. And then good behavior as well. You should be a role model. And then you ask questions politely. Okay, and that ends our discussion about commentary. So if you have questions, just comment down below your questions and I will be glad to answer. Now, for your performance task, you will be preparing a commentary according to the itinerary that you have gathered or that you have made. So further information will be posted. Alright, see you.